So back in February 2017, I did the Joe Rogan podcast. I did it twice around that time, both about a year apart. They're both banned. This was 920, number 920. I forget what number the other one was. But I dared to point out the problems of Muslims and inbreeding. If you ever want to show someone this boring fact, I recommend you find an article where the byline is a weird-sounding name, Muhammad Marakba or something. If it's done by Lizzie Douglas, people are going to call it racist. But it's a fact. It's well acknowledged in the Islamic community. It's funny how whenever I bring this up, people bring up like royalty or Hasidic Jews or hillbillies in Appalachia. The Jewish community works hard to make sure this isn't a pattern. And so the royal family eventually figured it out too. I don't know about hillbillies. I think that's overstated, by the way. But in all cases, yeah, inbreeding bad. It's not like I'm saying no one but does inbreeding but this group and they suck and blah blah blah. I'm obviously not saying that with nil. So I brought this up on the Rogan show, and then Rogan DM'd me later. He goes, "Everyone's calling me Islamophobic from that episode," and I'm like, "Yeah." That's the game. Are you new to this? Like, you say anything controversial about race, you're going to be a racist. If you say anything controversial about women, you're a sexist, and so on and so on. That's the way it works, especially back then in 2017. You notice, by the way, with all these viral things, they're all leading up to me being canceled. It wasn't for lying. It was for saying the truth. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think a part of it was inbreeding.
This is your own theory.
No. Look at
Someone else
Muslims
has a theory?
and inbreeding, major problem.
I've never heard this before.
Especially with immigrants in Britain, like the Pakistanis in London, they'll have all kinds of serious inbreeding problems because that's an even smaller sample size you're dealing with.
Strap yourself in for this. 70% of all Pakistanis are inbred. And in Turkey, the amount is between 25 to 30%. More stillbirths among immigrants. A rough estimate reveals that close to half of everybody living in the Arab world is inbred. A large percentage of the parents said, this is blowing my mind. So listen to the BBC investigation in Britain several years ago revealed that at least 55% of the Pakistani community in Britain was married to a first cousin. Holy BBC's research also discovered that while British Pakistanis account for just 3.4% of all births in Britain, they accounted for 30% of all British children with recessive disorders and a higher rate of infant mortality. What in the Labour Party MP has called for a ban on first cousin marriage. Medical evidence shows that one of the negative consequences of inbreeding is a 100% increase in the risk of stillbirths. Wow. That is insane.
I also read somewhere that a lot of the symptoms of inbred people are irrational rage, fanaticism, and they end up just describing ISIS.
Look at what it says here, that with the IQ points, it says findings on intelligence. Research shows that if one's parents are cousins, intelligence goes down 10 to 16 IQ points. The risk of having an IQ lower than 70, criterion for being in quotes, are they using that word? Increases 400% among children from cousin marriages. Well, let me say that again. The risk of having an IQ lower than 70 increases 400% amongst children from cousin marriages. Jesus Christ.
And why don't we know this? Because people don't like the truth.
Islamophobia. They don't like being called Islamophobic by even discussing it. Like, we're going to be called Islamophobic for even bringing this up.
Information has to come out.
You blew my...
It's funny how he said, we're going to get called Islamophobic for saying this. And they absolutely, then he did. And he's going, why is everyone calling me Islamophobic? You predicted it. I forgot he predicted it. And I'm not crapping on Joe Rogan. He got $90 million from Spotify. I couldn't imagine a level of douche where I was like, you killed my eps? You should have said no to the 90 million. Was it 90 million a year? Was it 90 million? Whatever it was. Sorry, Joe, you can't build a mansion in Beverly Hills and have a penthouse suite and send your daughter to college in Italy. No way. You gotta take it on the chin. By the way, anyone who asks you to do that, like, you should have stood by me, that person would gobble up the money like a hungry hippo the second that the offer came his way. And he had, what was her name? Vijaya Gadde and Jack Dorsey on his on an episode. I don't think they took that down. And Tim Pool was there, and he just goes, "Why'd you ban Gavin McInnes? What was that about?" So that must have been post 2018. And they had no answer, of course. There's some sort of dictum somewhere. Someone pulls a lever, and you're persona non grata, and no one knows why. That's the way these things work.
It was actually a $200 million deal.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then he's got another one that's about another $200 million.
You should have refused them both. You should have refused the $500 million to keep my Muslim rant on the airways. And it already went viral, so it's already out there. This is from Tommy Robinson. That's why I chose this particular clip. He retweeted it and said, "What's going on with this?" And that's why I know about it, because I'm British. I saw it happen in Birmingham and Luton. I was born 20 minutes from Luton, and you see it in Canada. But I think with a 1% Muslim population here in America, did I mention cousin marriage being banned?
No.
In this take? 14th century, we finally totally outlawed cousin marriage, built the greatest civilization on earth, and now we're importing people that don't see it as a big deal. And when we banned it in the 14th century, it wasn't brand new. We've been slowly discouraging it for hundreds of years. So that's why it's such a relevant topic. It drastically changes the populace. It literally changes the DNA. Like a less than 70 IQ, I don't think you've ever met anyone like that. I don't think they can walk or drive. I don't think they know how to eat with a fork. I'm talking not about Muslims. I'm talking about severely inbred people. But yeah, the moral of the story is, if you know a controversial fact and you have a wide public forum like this, shh.